I have been flying for about 25 years, ever since I was in college, and it really is a passion of mine. I love it. I just take such joy in the freedom of flight, being able to just go where I want to go, looking down and seeing the beauty of God's creation. Just is awesome. I want to talk about my favorite places to fly. Today, I'm going to start off just talking about some of the uh, cheapest fuel stops over the years that I've come across when flying from the east to the west coast. Um, I don't always fly these long distances, but I like to try to have um, one or two long cross countries every year where I will fly at least 1,000 miles each direction. It just makes for really a fun experience. You get to see such a varied terrain, such a wide part of the country. So I wanted to tell you just a little bit about myself. Like I said, I've been flying for quite a while. I've rented a lot of planes, and I've also owned a few. I have owned two older Moonies. My current plane is a 1963 Mooney M20C, and it to me the older Moonies are some of the best value when it comes to a cross-country airplane. You can get into an older Mooney well equipped for under $50,000. Of course, some of them will cost you a lot more. Some are considerably less. But for about $50,000, you can get into a fairly well equipped airplane that's ready to travel across the country. So, just to start off with, the first airport on my list is Columbia County, New York. This airport, let me pull it up for you. It's 1 Bravo 1. So Columbia County is an airport with a 5,300-foot runway right off of the Hudson River, about 30 miles south of Albany, maybe 60 miles north of New York. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Let's see here. Here it is right here, 1 Bravo 1. This airport makes a great stop if you're traveling to New England. And the reason is New England is an expensive place to fly. Fuel is almost always $1 a gallon or more higher than it is in the southeast U.S. where I'm from. Columbia County is a great place. I have family in Maine, and this is a great place to stop and get fuel before heading into Maine. Maine is a great place to fly, but it's not the cheapest place. Another benefit of Columbia County is if you're flying from the southeast, say the Charlotte, North Carolina area, it allows you to fly up the Shenandoah Valley, just like this, staying out of the highest terrain of the Appalachians. And then once you're up clear of the Washington-Baltimore airspace, you can fly direct to the Hudson Valley and basically stay clear of all of the Northeast Class Bravo airspaces. It's very convenient. And then from there, you can fly on to any place in New England you want. And in my case, going to Maine, I'm staying north of the Boston Class Bravo, which just makes everything simpler. The next airport on the list, we'll be moving down to. Let's go to Texas first. Romeo Foxtrot, India. This is Rusk County, Texas. Rusk County is in East central or northeast Texas. It's in the Longview area, about 20 miles or so to the southwest of Longview. This makes a great stop from the southeast to central Texas. Anywhere south of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, this is a great stop. Rusk County has a great courtesy car, and most importantly, they have consistently inexpensive fuel. You almost never even have to check the fuel prices. You can assume that Rusk County will be one of the least expensive places in the entire country. Probably not the least expensive, but it's going to be very competitive. Rusk County is easy in and out. They have instrument approaches through Longview Approach. Really easy. They have an airport manager who is retired military and has 100 stories to tell. He's just very professional and really a good airport manager. The next place on the list would be continuing in Texas, Sierra Whiskey India. That is Sherman, Texas. And so the Sherman area has several airports, but the airport I prefer is the very small Sherman Municipal. I just prefer smaller airports. You know, anybody can go and land at a large Class Charlie airport or a Tower Control Class Delta airport, but I don't like to pay those fees. I don't like to go places where I'm always being charged a landing fee, and fuel is almost always more expensive. I prefer the small airports where I can take care of my own plane. I can park my plane. I can go fuel my plane at the self-serve fuel pumps. That's what I want. But that's not the only thing I want. I want an airport that is friendly. I want an airport that is convenient, has services nearby. Typically, I don't rent a car. If I'm going somewhere, I would try to find a place that has a courtesy car or that has a hotel nearby that I could walk to, or Uber to if I need to. That's fine, but I don't really want to rent. Pay $40 or $50 for a one-night car rental just to go to the hotel. So Sherman Airport, north of the Metroplex by about 60 miles, 4,000-foot runway, good instrument approaches. Moving on, the next airport would be Graham, Texas, Romeo Papa Hotel. So Graham, Texas is west and I think southwest of the Metroplex. They have two runways. Main runway is 0321, 5,000 foot, and a crosswind north-south runway. Great airport right across the street from a Dairy Queen you can walk to. Also, one cool thing about Graham is it's a good place to overnight if you're going all the way across the country. It's basically halfway between the East Coast and the West Coast. Graham has a drive-in movie theater. When I went there, they weren't showing anything that night, but the movie theater is probably half a mile from the FBO. It's very convenient. And you can see Graham is here to the west of Fort Worth, about 40 miles or so, 50 miles west of Fort Worth. Next on the list would be, let's go to Kennett, Missouri. Kennett, Missouri, Tango Kilo X-Ray is one of my favorite in the whole country. No kidding. Let's see here. Okay, here it is. This airport has 2 runways. When I began flying at this airport, they only had the shorter 1836 runway, which was 3,000 foot. So I have only been there one time since the new runway 2002 opened. They put this in to attract larger jet aircraft, but honestly, the 3,000 foot north-south runway is perfectly fine. Right off of the arrival into runway 36 here is several restaurants, including a McDonald's, Mexican restaurant. I think there's a fried chicken restaurant. There's also a few national chain motels. Nothing fancy, but it's a great place to overnight. The FBO is actually, I think I said that wrong. The development is down here. The highway runs right down here off of the approach into runway 18. So I said that wrong. But basically from the FBO here, you can walk. They also have a courtesy car, so this is a very, very convenient airport. Located in the boot heel of Missouri, about 60, 70 miles north of Memphis, and about 15 miles to the west of the Mississippi River. I love flying over the Mississippi River just to see how it meanders through the country, and to see the barges being pushed up and down the river. It's really neat. Next on the list would be St. John, Arizona. So let's take a look at 3 airports in Arizona that I like. SJN, Sierra Juliet, November. This airport, you feel like, when you land here, you feel like you are in the middle of nowhere. It is, between the Albuquerque area and the Phoenix area. There's really nothing around there. But it's a good stop. They've got good fuel. If you look at the runway diagram, they've got a 5,200 foot runway, which sounds like a long runway, but you have to consider density altitude at this airport. The airport sits at about 5,000 foot elevation. So in the summer, you can have density altitudes approaching 10,000 feet. So it's a good airport, but you have to be very concerned with density altitude, especially in the summertime. Next on the list is another Arizona airport, Hotel India. So this is Lake Havasu. This airport is not very high. This airport is under 1,000 foot, 783 foot MSL, real close to the Colorado River and Lake Havasu. This is a great airport to stop, especially in the wintertime. It's one of those places that's surrounded by, retirement communities, golf courses, palm trees, beautiful, beautiful setting. They've got good fuel there, and they've got a huge 8,000 foot runway. Next on the list, the final airport in Arizona, Casa Grande, Charlie Golf Zulu. So this airport is a great airport just outside of the Phoenix metro. It's probably, I don't know, I've never driven into Phoenix from there, but I would assume it's probably 45 minutes or so drive into the Phoenix area. I have stopped there just because it's an easy in and out if you're transitioning southern Arizona to the south side of Phoenix. It's keeps you clear of the restricted areas further south in Arizona. It also, for the most part, keeps you clear of the Phoenix Class Bravo airspace if you're careful. This airport is 1,464 feet, has a 5,200 foot runway. It's a great option in the Valley of the Sun area. So, let's see if there are any other airports that I can think of. Another airport that I'm not sure they still have good fuel prices, but they historically have is Charlie Papa Charlie. This is Columbus County, North Carolina. It's just across the state line from South Carolina, and probably about 30 miles north of Myrtle Beach. This place is another airport kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It makes a great fuel stop if you're traveling from the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic to Florida. It's probably 30 miles inland from the coast. It would make an easy stop and transition. Oh my goodness. It would make an easy stop and transition. If you were to, if you're going to Florida, you could fly easily from here to Charleston, then Savannah, then Brunswick, down to Jacksonville, just hug the coast. That's a very beautiful flight that would also keep you away from this restricted area around Fort Stewart in southern Georgia. Moving into Florida, some of my favorite places to get cheap fuel in Florida. The Northeast Florida Regional Airport, St. Augustine. If I can remember the identifier. Let's see, I'll just type in St. Augustine. Okay, Sierra Golf Juliet. Okay, let's zoom in and have a look. So, of course, St. Augustine is right on the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 miles south of Jacksonville. Great place to stop. They've got self-serve pumps right under the Class Delta control tower. They've got restrooms, vending machines. Everything's right there within easy walk. Beautiful approach, because you come in, if you're landing runway 31, you come in right over the ocean. Anyway, this is a good stop if you're going to or from Florida. Another great airport in Florida for fuel purposes is X-Ray 60 right here. Williston, I believe it's called. Yeah, Williston Airport almost always has extremely cheap fuel. Again, this is a good stop to and from Florida. It's not as picturesque or scenic as St. Augustine, but Williston does have one thing that makes it a great stop as well, and that would be they have an on-field restaurant that is very good and very convenient. So that's all that I have for today as far as inexpensive cross-country stopovers. I will be making another video about some of my favorite airports that are maybe not quite so cheap, but just have something extra to offer. Thank you very much.